consistency over everything. Self-awareness is a must. And you always gotta keep it real. These are the keys. This is the Continual Growth Podcast. I'm Bwanka, I'm with Z.
Yup.
Okay, we got episode 21 today. We're gonna bring some serious fire.
Yup.
We're all about them 21s.
Yup. I'm loving it. This is gonna be a good fucking episode. You know what I was thinking about the other day? We were on episode, I think, 19. And I'm like, yo, we're coming up on 21. 21's
a big one, man.
It's a big deal. And then I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, remember episode 1? When we didn't have fucking lights and cameras and all this shit. We had a snowball and our phone.
No snowball.
We didn't have a snowball
yet.
Oh my God.
We were just using our phone.
Wow. Look at us now.
we got lights. We got 3, 4 cameras.
Yep.
We got laptops, man.
And we got massive progress going on, and that's one of the things that I was hoping we would get into for this episode is the idea of progress. You know, we've come a long way in our journey through self-development, so it'd be beautiful to, I guess, take people back to when this shit started, not continual growth. I'm talking about self-development, right? And take people back to when it started and reflect on like the last year and a bit and how it's gone.
Okay. So my personal self-development journey has been going on for about like a year and a half. And I remember when I started. When I started, I wanted to do everything. I'm like, if I can get some new habits, like my life is gonna change drastically, right? And I try to read, exercise, meditate. I try to do all these different habits all at the same time.
Oh, like you were trying to get like you made a list of like these are really good habits I want to have in my life.
Yeah,
and then you try to do all of them all at once.
Try to do everything at once, right?
Oh my goodness. And it's funny, like looking back on that now, like I'm sure in the moment you're probably like it made sense, right? You're like, all right, these are the things I need to get done.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go do it.
And then like a great motivational speaker, he said like, what would your life be like if you added 10 to 12 new healthy habits? And that really got things ticking in my head, and I'm like, in a year from now, if I can add, let me just say 12, like if I can just add 12 new habits, how is my life gonna change?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I know like it takes 21 days to create a habit. I've done that before. Like I've done like maybe 1 or 2 before this. So I said, man, if I just take it nice and slow, one at a time, a year from now, my life will be like, it'll be totally different. And I started doing that. I followed the program, and I can honestly say now, like, I couldn't even imagine how my life would be, like, how it is now.
Like the way your typical day goes now
the way my day goes, the way I feel, how happy I am, how the people all around me are. Like, I read.
Yeah.
Bro, never, ever, ever did I ever think I would be like someone who reads. I play chess. Never did I think I would be someone that plays chess.
Fucking Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, never did I think I could ever. I didn't even think anybody could win that.
Yeah.
Man.
We keep going on and on and on.
There's way too much.
Yeah. That's dope.
Yeah, the key to all the progress was just slow and steady consistency. And you just keep building on another thing.
It's beautiful because when I look back on my journey through self-development, like you started probably, I would say like 4 months prior to me getting like serious about it.
Yeah.
Or not getting serious, I would say trying it.
Yeah.
Because there was another 2 months of trying it / bullshitting. Right? So for me, when I look back on a year ago, man, I had horrible fucking habits. Horrible. Like I'm talking about like I'd go a whole day without eating.
But hold on, right now you can admit that.
Yes.
Azana a year from now would never say I had horrible habits.
You know why? And I can honestly say that a lot of my life leading up to a year ago, I had this like inflated sense of self, inflated ego. Like I thought I was like not in like a malicious way, but I really actually believed that I was like better than most people. Like I'm like, yo, I know how to work, I know how to hustle, I know how to do so many different things, but the one thing I didn't know was how to keep it real. I was lying a lot, right? And what I realized is that hustle and grinding only gets you to a certain point, right? Because there's only 24 hours in a day, right? Yeah. And if you're of the mindset that I used to have, which was, there's 24 hours in a day, I only need about 3-4 hours of sleep. Mm-hmm. So that means 20 hours I have to fucking kill it, right?
So you're trying to get as many possible hours.
Yeah, and I wasn't, it's not like I was trying to make myself better so that the future days that are coming, I could maximize them. Mm-hmm. I was of the mindset of like, I could die tomorrow, so I'm going to fucking work it now. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, I had this weird relationship with working. I thought that as long as I'm working, I'm making money, I'm going to eventually make progress. And what I end up finding is that there's only so many hours in a day. I'm not a fucking robot. I'm a human. And I hit my wall. Like I literally hit a wall where I was like, okay, if I can't work how I used to work, that means I'm not going to make as much money. That means that my lifestyle is going to change. So that means I need to change. If I want to open myself up to different like opportunities, a different perspective of life. Yeah. If I open myself up to that idea, it's going to require me getting real. And for me at the beginning, I remember when you told me like, yo, bro, I've built these habits. I'm meditating now. I'm working on reading. And like in the early days, it was like, I was like, yeah, that's fucking hype, bro. That's good for you. Yeah. And then you tried to get me on it. And my initial reaction was like, what the fuck for? What the fuck for? What the fuck is meditating every day going to do for me? I got bills, bro. Like, and you're telling me like, yo, bro, it's going to help you control your emotions. It's going to help you be more in the moment so you can make better decisions. Yeah. If you make better decisions, you're going to that's going to help you in your businesses. It's going to help you in life. And I didn't connect those two things. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And even like just to take that back, like a year ago, that was when I was just trying to like tell people about this. So I didn't even know how to sell it myself. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck, how can I show people how much this is going to help them, right? Yeah. And I just like, I have to do it. Like my actions have to show people it's possible. And then after I started convincing like one person, it became easier to convince the next person. And it's becoming easier to fucking get more people and make people understand exactly what it is that we're doing and what we're trying to do.
Yeah, man. And for me, it didn't click until I actually started doing it for real. Like I remember
the 21's effect.
Yeah, like I remember I said, okay, all right, you've been on and off. Like I started with reading. Yeah. I fell off. I started with meditating, fell off. I went back to reading, fell off. And then I'm like, all right, let's do this for real. No more bullshitting, no more lying. Just one fucking habit at a time. Stop trying to be a superhero. Stop thinking that you're capable of doing multiple things at one time. You haven't built consistency in your life yet, right? I was really consistent with working, but I wasn't consistent with self-development. So I said, all right.
I remember a time too when you said like, you're like, I'm doing this habit, this habit, this habit. And I'm like, man, how is this guy doing all these habits? And that's when I came and I talked to you and I'm like, for real, how?
Yeah, and I love that you called me out because that was the moment that I was like, yo, you're a fucking liar. Like, that was the first time that I could tell myself, you're a liar. Yeah. That's, like, enough's enough. Like, stop lying and saying that you're reading for this amount of time and saying that you're doing this and that. Let's just stop all that bullshit. And let's go back to doing this the way that Bwanka said to do it, which is pick one habit, 21 days, let's do this. And we didn't have the board back then, right? This is like... We would check in with each other day 1, day 2, day 3.
This is just text messaging.
Just text messaging. So for me, that was the day that I first started. And I remember when I finally made getting up at 6 a.m. a habit, when I finally made meditating a habit, that's when I was like, yo, my life is different. Like just in the morning, I think it was like 3 or 4 months into this. And I was like, my morning is different than it used to be. Like I used to wake up, roll up out of bed, look at my phone, and check what emails I got. What are the issues that I need to deal with? What are the problems I need to handle? And then I would go to social media and be like, all right, what's going on there? And then I would step out the door and go work, right? And I was like, it dawned on me when I woke up and I meditated, I read, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, yo, I'm normally getting up around this time. Yeah. I'm already awake and ready to go. Like I'm feeling good. I feel like I can attack the day. That was when I realized I'm like, yo, this 21's effect thing that this guy's been talking about, it's a real thing. It's not bullshit. It's real. You actually feel different when you do shit for an extended period of time, especially new shit.
And other people notice too. Yeah. Like people see the difference in you, like from meditating probably. So a lot of people notice, like, how many people have told you, yo, you're way calmer?
bro, it's crazy. Like people that that have been with me like close to me have seen me in traffic or on the highway like fucking spazzing the fuck out, like massive road rage. And then now we'll be in the car and driving, and like someone will cut me off or something fucked up happens, and like you were kind of like, yo, that was fucked up.
Yeah,
like
I'm the one that's I'm the passenger. Usually I'm chilling.
Yeah.
And you're not getting mad. I'm like, this guy's not. Yo, he fucking cut you off.
And then I remember thinking, I'm like, yo, okay, this is different, because to be in the opposite seat where it used to be that I had massive road rage and you'd be like, yo, bro, calm the fuck down. To be in a different seat, being like, yo, bro, that doesn't bother you? And I'm like, yes, it does fucking bother me. It's obviously frustrating that it got cut off, but it's like, move on. I'm in the moment right now. I'm in a car. I'm in my car with my best friend driving somewhere. No one's gonna take me off that. I don't care. I don't care. And to spend time stressing about yelling out my window and saying, you're a fucking idiot, you fucking dumb fuck, like, what's that gonna do, right? And even to take a step back, and this is where self-awareness comes in. It's a beautiful thing. To step back from that and be like, yo, imagine being at an intersection and you're cussing out the driver in front of you, and somebody that you might do business with one day and like a few days sees you do that. How do you come back from that? How do you come back from that, right? Like, you can't come back from that.
Yeah, again, it shows like, yo, you have no control. You're sitting there yelling at fucking Mr. Invisible. No one's there.
Yeah, right. And that's and like that is a powerful realization, knowing that like, okay, there's a lot of bullshit going on. There's a lot of bullshit going on, but I can control what I do. And that's the beautiful thing about the 21 system and our high performance matrix. It's like, it actually fucking works. Like, you have a methodology to follow. I think that we live in a time where like it's so easy to get distracted, man. Like, social media really fucked me over. It fucked me over. Like, you'll know this, man. I was fucking addicted to my phone. Like, I was like doing shit, posting shit to get likes and comments. And that's so fucking empty and whack. When you stop doing it, you're like, this is what I'm basing my life on? This is what I'm basing my life on? Or I can look at the wisdom of like the ancient sages and monks and people who are talking about the various things that they did to get a sense of fulfillment. They did that without phones. They did that without fucking internet. They did that without like all the luxuries that I have in my life. Now I have all these luxuries, and if I do all those things, I can get that same sense of fulfillment. And for me, that's what's changed in a year, man. Like, I look at life differently. I used to fucking hate my life. Every moment of my life, I hate it. Now I'm fucking excited. I'm so thankful that I'm breathing. Just noticing that. Like, I never once thought to myself, yo, something's happening without you even thinking about it. You're breathing in and out, and your heart's beating without you even thinking about it. Meditating and self-awareness taught me that. And once I connected with that, then I was like, yo, bro, all these things that you stress about that make you so angry and so upset and so sad, they don't have to. And that's like, to me, that's the power of all of this for me.
Okay, so let's take it back to when you were in that phase where you're like bullshitting and something clicked where it was like, all right, I'm gonna do this for real. Could you see where you were gonna go if you started developing these habits?
No, I couldn't in the moment. But once I started, I said, okay. I remember, I think I was like day 7 or day 8 into meditating, right? And I thought, I'm on day 8. What happens at day 365? You know what I'm saying? And then I remember when you said, yo, bro, do one habit at a time. And I remember sitting there after a meditation. It's like a weekend, right? And I'm like, yo, so after this 21-day set where I'm going to make meditation a habit, I'm going to be able to tackle something else. And then I'm going to be able to tackle something else. And then I started, and you know me, I'm a numbers guy, right? So I started doing the math. I'm like 365 divided by 21. If I fall off a couple times, you know, whatever. And then I'm like, yo, that's why this guy used to say 10 to 12 habits.
You even
focus on 10.
Wiggle room in there.
Right. And then I was like, yo, in a year, I'm going to have 10 new habits. That's fucking hype. And then I got excited. That's when I was like, it felt like time wasn't going fast enough. Like, you know what I mean? But it was beautiful because I could commit and focus on developing these new habits one at a time, knowing that like, yo, from the moment that I started to a year later, which is we're coming up on like probably a month away. Wow.
And what's incredible about this is like, see, it's not about just learning that one habit, like just reading. It's not only just going to help you read. It's going to, you learn consistency throughout all of it. And then when you go on to your second one, you know exactly what you do. Like maybe on the first one you kept messing up because you're doing it at different times.
Yep.
So on this one you switch and you're like, all right, I'm gonna do it at the exact same time because whenever I do it at the same time, it's easier.
Yep.
So you start mastering little aspects in the self-development.
Yes.
So as you go, it's not that I need more time. It's that you just become way more efficient with it.
Exactly. And you get really good because at the end of the day, what this is doing is helping people create standards, right? And I think the big mistake that our generation, like, and I say our generation, like the millennial generation, people born between 1980 and 2000, right? We grew up at an incredible time in human history. Like the advancements in technology that were happening from when we were kids, when we got dial-up internet, to now we have like fucking 5G on our phones. Yeah. Like it's crazy if you think about it, right? And I don't think that we were taught the importance of setting standards, the importance of like setting up a guideline for your life. And what this has done for me, and I know for a lot of people, is it's helped them create that boundaries of like, this is what I need to do by this time. These are the habits that I have, and it's for this reason. There's goals that support the need for those habits. And when you see that your goals start to manifest because of the work that you're putting in, and it's just little baby steps, you know what I mean? Like I remember for me, because I was getting up much earlier and working on me, I wasn't waking up and feeling exhausted and dead and tired. I didn't need a coffee in the morning. Yeah. Like I saved like $5-6 a day, Starbucks, right? $5-6 a day I saved because I don't need it anymore. I don't need coffee to give me the energy for life. I'm giving myself that energy. My morning routine's giving me that. And that's a side benefit to everything that we're doing. And I could go on with so many of the little side benefits that have happened out of the result of all the little habits that we've built.
Another one is this, like one of the things you're probably going to think like, oh, I don't have time to build all these habits. But another thing that also happens is like, as you work on yourself and you're doing all these things to help yourself, meditating being one of them, your body doesn't need as much sleep anymore. True. Because you're so active and you're moving.
True. And you're like, one of the things, and I'll ask you this too, it's like, when you think about the way you used to live, right? Like, and I'm talking about like the typical average day. Yeah. Like the average weekday where if you had to be at your work at, whatever time, let's say 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, you wake up with just enough time to get ready to get to work and go. Yep.
Always in a rush.
Always in a rush. Compare that to now where you get up significantly earlier. Don't you feel like you have more time?
Isn't that ahead? Isn't
that weird? Ahead, isn't that weird that now you feel like you have more time, yet you're doing more shit? Yeah. But before you were doing way less shit and you had what you thought was no fucking time?
That's
a powerful perspective.
Yeah, when you become effective with your time, you're nice.
That's right. I hear you. Okay, so when you think about people listening to this podcast, right, and they're hearing us, like the whole mission of this podcast, of Continual Growth, is to help people own their life. And to us, that means building your best life through better habits and doing that repeatedly, right? When you think of someone listening to the podcast now, what's something you could tell them as like from having that perspective of a year gone by now? What would you tell them?
Number one thing, we say it all the time, trust the process.
I like that.
Trust the process. Like, just write it down. Write down 10, just 10, only 10. Don't even do 12. Write down 10 habits that you think could help your life. Just write it down. Even if you only get to 5. If you write down the 5 and think, what would my life be like if I did all these 5 habits all the time? How would my life change? And then develop those 5 habits over a year. And see how your life changes. It'll be easier for you to develop 6 new habits the next year, 7 new the next year. But we always get caught up in like, I want it right now. I want to do it right now.
Yeah, man.
I want to read 300 books right now. You can't.
Yeah.
It's all steps, and like, you have to remember, like, you're gonna live a long life. This is not for this year or I gotta do it before my birthday or whatever. This is a long journey.
Yeah, man.
It's not ending. So just take it one step at a time.
I love that. That's a beautiful tip. I think what I would try to communicate would be, in life, gaining the belief that you can do anything is powerful.
Hell yeah.
Right? And I remember hearing people say that they believe they can do anything, and they had this like crazy level of confidence. And I always thought to myself, how the fuck do you have that? Like, how do you, what made you think that you can think this way, right? Like, all the rest of us don't feel this way. How do you feel that way?
Yeah.
And the one thing that I would say is that confidence is something that's built. You're not born with it.
Hell yeah.
So in order for you to gain confidence in your own abilities, you need to put yourself through some stress testing. You need to put yourself through some situations that feel uncomfortable. Like,
challenge yourself.
Yeah, challenge yourself. Like, when I first started meditating, I thought it was fucking stupid. I'm like, I can't get my brain to stop for 5 seconds. What are you talking about? Meditate for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But by meditating, I've learned that it's a muscle. And the same way that the first time I walked into a gym when I was 15, I couldn't even bench 135 pounds. But now, 15, 16 years later, I can easily bench 2 plates. My brain's going to be like that. It needs to be exercised. It needs to be built. It needs to be put through the routine to make it stronger. And for me, gaining the confidence that I have now versus what I had a year ago, I always knew that I would be somewhat successful in life. I always knew that because I have the work ethic for it. I'm built for it. But the perspective that I have on life now versus a year ago is dramatically different because I have so much more confidence in myself. I have confidence in my own ability to make shit happen because I've been making shit happen. Oh, yeah. I've changed who I am as a person. I used to be very, very angry, bitter. I used to yell all the time. I had incredible road rage. I had just a very negative reaction to most shit. And now I'm much more calm. I'm much more loving. I'm much more compassionate to other people. I empathize with people a lot more now. And it's killing it. Yeah, it's a beautiful feeling to be in, especially. I know I'm a loud guy. In a room with a lot of people, I know I'm going to be the loudest one or one of the loudest. And there's a certain responsibility that comes with that. If you know that you have a voice, you know that you have to use it for other people. Being selfish about it would be like, that's not the right way to do things. And I had to learn that if I'm going to be the one that's going to try to help people improve their life with you, then I have to be the best me. And I've become what I feel like so far in my life. At this point, I am the best me.
Hell yeah.
And I think I'm thinking to myself, we're doing this episode think about what you could become in a year. Bro, imagine 2. Imagine 5.
Okay.
Imagine 10.
Okay.
Imagine 20. And that's the beautiful thing about this. It's like, I couldn't imagine what my life could be like a year later. There's no way I could imagine what it would be like in 5 and 10 or 15. And that's exciting to me.
Hell yeah. That's
a beautiful feeling, and I want everyone to feel that way. You know what I mean? Episode 21, bro. This was a good one.
We made it.
This was a good one. We've come a long way in our journey through our self-development, but also even just building this company, building continual growth, building this podcast. It's been a journey, and we started out small. We started out baby stepping it. And just like the 21s board and all the systems that we've created, it requires that small little bit of effort over a long period of time. And slowly but surely, you're going to add and increase value. And you're going to become more confident in your own abilities. And when you gain that confidence, you can feel like anything's possible.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, it's been incredibly fun to go through this process. It's incredibly fun to watch you go through it, watch our people go through it, watch the entire continual growth community go through it. So
speaking of that, let's give a shout out to the team. Shout out to Carlito,
yeah, man,
Stir,
yep,
Jaffnan,
yep.
You guys are out here helping us build nonstop.
They're behind the scenes, man.
Behind the scenes, they're doing it though.
You and I don't know any of this stuff. We don't know editing and lights and this stuff, and to see them grow into these roles where they're challenging themselves to learn and evolve. It's beautiful. Like, there's just so much growth happening, and it's beautiful to be part of it. With that, I think we should kind of wrap up with a few little housekeeping things. Guys, if you enjoyed this podcast, it would mean a lot to us if you would do 2 things for us. One would be subscribe to the podcast if you aren't already, and then leave us a review if you haven't already. It's important that you do that for us because that's how we grow the audience that we have for the Continual Growth community. That's how we expose this podcast to a broader audience. And it's really important for us that we provide that value to make you feel like you could do that for us. And we're hoping that you're getting that value. And if you are, it would mean a lot to us if you would do that. And then the final thing would be tell somebody about Continual Growth. Tell them about this podcast. Tell them about this movement of people who are committed to changing their lives, taking ownership for their lives, building the best life that they can possibly have. And we know that that's possible through habits. And with that, kill every day and own your fucking life.
Bless up.